Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of June 23rd. This week you have this Javelina card. It says choice on it. You have this Red Rock card. It says nurturing on it. So you are a Taurus. Tauruses are very nurturing. So, but I think you have a choice in what you nurture this week is kind of like what these cards are saying. In a lot of ways, I would just nurture your dream. You have the Ten of Pentacles here. You have the Moon. You have the Sun, which is great, but the Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life, and you always get the Ten of Pentacles with me, which makes sense because we've had Uranus in your sign for a very long period of time. And as I always say, Uranus in your sign wants true freedom, and obviously if you have everything you want and desire in your life or close to it, then you have true freedom. So I would start getting to work on a dream. The Moon is also kind of like your dream, but the thing with the Moon is that the Moon says we have to actually do something to bring the dream down to earth. So, I always say like the Moon is kind of like, it's not really, in action, although it kind of is, but it's part of the Fool's journey, the Moon. He has to see something through to the end with the Moon. So he's going down, the Fool is going down this path to these mountains, and the whole point of the Moon is to not get off your path. If you pick something that you are setting out to accomplish, then you have to see it through to the end. And as I've said to others, we have all this energy in Aries now, Neptune, mostly Neptune and Saturn. And, Aries energy is all about completion. It is about starting something and finishing it. So I definitely feel we are in a time, or you are in a time, where it's time to really go for your dream and make it happen. The good news about the reading is that we go from the Moon to the Sun. I do not like readings that go from the Sun to the Moon because that is the wrong direction. This is a much better direction. Kind of says that you're entering into a Sun period. A Sun period is a period of time of clarity, seeing things more clearly, getting answers, joy, love, joy, peace, happiness, all that other good stuff. You have the Four of Cups. I think a lot of people feel this right now. It's like the energy of feeling like you are never going to have what you want. And, so a lot of people I think are having those feelings, that they have run out of time, or they're not going to be able to get the thing that they desire, or they're not going to be able to create what they desire. But really, that is kind of like the challenge that we all are facing from the universe right now. And I think whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish, we really have to go for it. We really have to make it happen. And that's what I would do with the Four of Cups, is instead of saying I'm never going to be able to do this, say to yourself, what would it look like if I did? And, and also I think that people, especially you, Taurus, I think you need to give yourself more credit. He has these 3 cups in front of him, and I always say that he needs to apply what he learned from these 3 cups to this 1 cup, which is like a new opportunity, because if he does that, then he will be successful with this new opportunity. But it's I think you need to see how far you've come, is kind of the intuitive message I'm getting off the 4 cups. Like I said, he needs to see how valuable those past experiences were for him, and that's kind of what I feel for you. It's you need to realize that whatever you're trying to accomplish right now, what you have already been through is probably probably has been much harder than what you're about to go through, which is nothing. So I think you need to realize that something, again, nothing in life is easy, but I think you need to realize that something is going to be easier than you think. You have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles, of course, is everything you want and desire in your life, so very good. Definitely could be attracting a lot of abundance at this time, if you're looking for abundance, so I like to see that. The Ten of Pentacles forms a tree of life, and, with the Ten of Pentacles, it's really important that we have kind of a full vision. We have this, it's important that we can see the whole vision of what we are kind of trying to create in our lives, and that's what I would do here. Whether you write it down, what you want to accomplish, or, you just visualize it in your head, doesn't matter. But I would definitely be doing something like that. I mean, it's clear to me that there's something about you kind of bossing up here, because we go up to you, the Hierophant right here. The Hierophant is the connection between heaven and earth. He communicates with both sides. He's able to communicate his vision from heaven down to earth. And I think it would be an amazing time for you to take your vision from heaven and bring it down to earth, right? And that's what I would do there. But let's see. With the Moon card, you have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups can be a turnaround. So number one, Six of Cups can be the past. I do feel that a lot of us are, I think a lot of people might be a little bit more nostalgic right now, and this is the card of nostalgia. I feel basically that a lot of us could be saying, like, I wish things were the way they used to be, but they're not. And this is both, yeah, sure, it could be a little bit sad, but, at the same time, I think it's a good thing. I think we're growing. I think the universe is encouraging us to create new solutions, and that's what I would be focusing on with that card. With the Four of Cups, you have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, I said the same thing to Virgo, and I'm going to say the same thing to you as well. There is something about earth signs needing to simplify, or needing to make things more simple, is what I would say. Ten of Wands is doing things the hard way. Now, Ten of Wands isn't necessarily a bad thing, because he is about to have a result. He's about to get to his home. He's carrying this harvest right here, and so he's about to have a harvest, which, like I said, is not really a bad thing necessarily, but, he might be doing things in just too complicated of a way. And, there could just be a simpler, better way of doing things. And I would stay open to all ways of doing things here, Taurus. And I think if you do that, things will go well. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have two cards. You have the Three of Swords and the Knight of Swords. Yeah, no rushing at this time for sure. Like if you're trying to build something, no rushing. I also think you need to get out of your head with that Three of Swords. Like you could be worried that something is too good to be true, or like I said with the Four of Cups, that you might be thinking that you can't have something when you can have something. And so I think that, this is saying no stinking thinking. The sun wants you to think more positively. The sun wants you to think in terms of love, joy, peace, happiness, enlightenment, good feelings, all those things. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this new moon in Aries. It says it's time to take action. You have this new moon in Taurus. It says prosperity lies ahead. There you go. Looks amazing to me. So I think it's definitely time to take action. Clearly, you are creating some prosperity in your life. You have the Ten of Pentacles. You have the Nine of Pentacles showing up at the end. These are very good, prosperous cards. You have the Sun, the Hierophant, and Lovers, so definitely could be a lot of happiness coming in for you. I really feel it's critically important that Taurus pays attention to their attention. The thing about the Sun is that sometimes it can just be our attention. It's a very good card, but sometimes I think it can be very subtle. Like if you're driving down the road and you just daydream about something, that could be your attention trying to get your attention. And the Sun sometimes is a little bit subtle, I think. I think that is our attention. And I would be paying very close attention to the thoughts that randomly pop into your head with the Sun card, because I feel if you pay attention, then who knows what you might discover. You might discover a lot of benefits, or you might be able to discover a lot of opportunity, and that's really what I would be paying attention to with the Sun. You have the Hierophant. The Hierophant can represent some blessings coming in for you. He is blessing these two people in front of him. The Hierophant, of course, is your card, Taurus. It's Taurus. But again, I think what's important for you is that you are very spiritually connected at this time. And I think you need to realize that a lot of your inspirations or your attention and all this other stuff is probably coming from heaven, or coming from the universe or whatever you believe in. And it's like you could really be downloading ideas, new directions, plans, directly from source. And you have this new moon in Taurus. It says prosperity lies ahead. So I would be listening to these messages that you are receiving. I also get something here popping into my head about the time being right. It's sometimes I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I just said this to you in the last reading I did for you. But it's almost sometimes I think there really is no difference in what we're doing. But just other than the time is right. And what the hell am I talking about, right? Well, it's I this channel, for example, I don't do basically anything differently than when I started the channel. But obviously I get a very different result than I did when I started the channel. So, it's sometimes I think just time, it's we learn things, we kind of improve at what we're doing, and then the time is right, and then we can kind of take off. And that's kind of the message I'm getting on the Hierophant, is that for some of you, if you've been working towards something and all of a sudden it could be taking off because the time is right, and that's kind of the message I get there. You have the lovers. Could be love coming in for some of you. Not, I wouldn't really call this a love reading. I mean, there's a little bit of love here, but, obviously, if you want love, it's always possible. So I would say, put yourself out there, get attention if you're looking for love. The lovers can also represent a choice, and that's what I think the lovers is talking about because we go up to the justice card. Justice is very simple. Justice says pay attention to the evidence. If you are trying to make a choice or a decision, then all you have to do is pay attention. If you're choosing between two things with the justice card, it's like probably one thing's working and the other thing isn't. Move towards what's working. Move towards the obvious, basically. With the sun, you have the Six of Swords. Sun and Six of Swords is just general improvements, life getting better. So I feel for a lot of you that there could just be some, general improvements coming in for you, or life could just be getting better in general for you, which of course is great. But definitely moving on to calmer shores. With the Hierophant, you have two cards. You have your other card, the Empress, and the Eight of Swords, which is great. The Empress is great, I should say. So the whole reading is talking about you attracting abundance. The Empress would be about nurturing your ideas with the Hierophant. Again, the Hierophant is the bridge between heaven and earth. He has these spiritual ideas or, kind of like downloaded plans for his life. If you have any of those plans, I would be nurturing those plans into existence. The Eight of Swords is about just opening up to all the ways there are going to be for you to accomplish something. The Eight of Swords is only a challenge because this person is only seeing one way to do things when there are many. So the Eight of Swords just says we just have to stay open to all the ways of doing things that there are, and we will be successful. With the lovers, you have the Hangman. The Hangman can, of course, represent being in Hangman mode. He's hanging from the Tree of Knowledge and Wisdom. But what's really weird is that in the last set of readings I did, that for the next 6 months, a lot of people had the Hangman. And then in this set of weekly readings, a lot of people have had the Hangman. I think we are just in a time where we have to look at all perspectives. Like anything we're trying to accomplish, we should look at it from all the different points of view that there are. Just because, understanding something on that deep of a level, understanding all the approaches we can take to accomplish something will make it a lot easier. And, I would just stay open with this card. There's really nothing more to add. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this No Place Like Home card, and you have one of my favorite cards, this Serendipity card. This lady is being lifted up by a 4-leaf clover, so there could be a lot of luck or, lucky kind of things happening for you at this time. The Serendipity card is kind of like right place, right time, and I do feel there could be a lot of just right place, right time energy for you coming up. Maybe not immediately this week, but I think, over the summer, over the next few weeks, then, you could be getting to this right place, right time place. You have the Queen of Cups, the Justice card, and the Temperance card. The Queen of Cups says follow your heart. I don't know, every single reading I've done for you for the past 3 years, Taurus has been saying your heart will not steer you wrong. Plain and simple. So if I were a Taurus, I would definitely be listening to my heart, because all your readings basically say listen to your heart. That is the thing that is going to make you the most successful or lead to the most happiness and joy in your life. So I definitely would be listening to your heart at this time. It's like clear to me that it's guiding you towards something. I also feel that there could be a lot of fulfillment coming in for you. I get fulfillment, which is weird because the Queen of Cups really isn't a card of fulfillment to me, but sure. I mean, it is, but it's more a card of fulfillment in the sense that you have to go and get the fulfillment. Like, again, she is finding fulfillment by following her heart. It's not necessarily a card that's saying you're just magically getting fulfillment, but I kind of feel like you are. So there could be something that happens this week that makes you happy. You have the Justice card. I really like Justice energy right now because I feel it's very just like straightforward, straight to the point energy right now. I feel like Justice is saying evidence. We have Pluto and Aquarius. For like the next 19 years, we should be just paying attention to the evidence. If something is working, good, great. But if something seems like it's working, but it's not really working, then also great, good. It's probably not going to work. So, we really have to pay attention to cause and effect, I believe, over the next many years. And we also have to get the evidence as well. We shouldn't just blindly accept things, especially with Neptune and Aries, for God's sakes. I mean, oh my God. With especially next year, Neptune will leave Aries this year, and then it's going to retrograde out, and then next year, January 26th, it's officially going to move into Aries to stay for like 14 years. So definitely with that energy, I would be paying attention to the evidence. You have the Temperance card. Temperance is like cause and effect as well, kind of. Temperance is trying to turn one thing into another. It's a card of alchemy, trying to turn water into wine. But again, we have to kind of pay attention to like what's working, what's not working with this card. This right here is called the Path to Glory. And, sometimes I feel that the Temperance angel on the card here is trying to be too perfect, or is trying to perfect something that will never be perfect. And, really, the card itself to me, sometimes I feel, says that you just need to get off on this path and get your crown. So I kind of feel it is time for you to start something that you have been thinking about starting for a long time. Or, again, if you've been taking too long to get started on something, I think it is time to get started with this card. And yeah, that's what I would do there. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Strength card. Strength, of course, is a card of strength. Strength is a card of patience. Strength, this lion, she's getting this lion to submit to her, and so she is watching her words. It is very important right now for everyone to watch their words. I think we are manifesting things very, very quickly. And so if you're speaking negatively about yourself, or, if you're speaking negatively about your situations, you're probably going to have a really hard time. So I would keep it positive, keep it light, keep it playful, keep it fun, all that. Sorry, that was like 19 cards that I just pulled, so let me just shuffle this real quick so that doesn't happen again. And let's see. With the Justice card, you have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is the truth. Ace of Swords is justice as well. So the Ace of Swords can represent receiving justice, or, it's kind of like law and order. So a lot of you, if you are involved in something legal or something that requires law and order, could be law and order. It's also a victory as well. So, a lot of you could just have some sort of victory coming in for you at this time. It's also a card of balance. We have these 6 golden yods on either side of the sword here, these are 3 and 3. And so it represents balance, and so does the Justice card. So I feel a lot of you could be creating more balance, but I definitely feel some sort of victory here. I also feel like you're very focused at this time. We have the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles, she has this falcon on her hand there, and the falcon in the tarot represents focus. So I think that a lot of you could be getting more focused. With the Temperance card, you have the Judgment card, so very good, waking up to your purpose. Judgment is about leaving something behind. These people are rising out of these coffins. Coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. And so they are being called to step into their new life. And I feel it would be an amazing time for you to, step into your new life, or step into a new life with that card. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Destiny card. It says, you have a divine destiny to fulfill through your career path. Your work will help elevate the consciousness of this planet. You have this Influencer card. It says you have just the right combination of qualities to connect with an audience, inspire change, and create a positive impact. Yes, definitely time for you to create a positive impact. So, this could include showing off. Again, you don't have to be an influencer. You could just be, being a good example to the people in your life. You could just be shining bright in the world, plain and simple. You have the Sun and the Empress, which are amazing for getting attention. So, it might be a good time for you to just give off a good vibe, right? And I think doing that will probably not only benefit you, but will benefit the world. You have the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, I think it's time for people to be independent. When you think about it, we have Pluto and Aquarius, which is a great card for the collective. The problem with Pluto and Aquarius is, I think that, I hear a lot of astrologers and stuff talking about it, and it's like, basically what they say is just like, oh, collective. I'm like, yeah, but the problem with Pluto and Aquarius is becoming part of the hive mind, is allowing, Mark Zuckerberg to plug us into his creepy little algorithm or whatever, right? So, we need to make sure that we don't, become Mark's playthings inside of some sort of weird AI universe where we get, where we basically become slaves. So, we need to be independent. We need to think for ourselves. We need to not fall for the trap, right? And, I don't know. I think the Nine of Pentacles is saying, don't be afraid to, go against the grain. While everybody's like, what are you talking about? we're going to get 1 million free credits if Mark shoves a plug up our ass and plugs us into his AI universe. You don't want 1 million free credits? It's amazing in there. I have 10 girlfriends in the AI universe, right? So, no, right? We need to be humans, and don't be afraid to go against the grain. You have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is your emotions overflowing, being very happy. So it could be a lot of happiness coming in for you with the Ace of Cups. Could be a love offer. I kind of feel like if love is coming in, it's like maybe not this week, but there's like a little bit of love in the reading, but it's also kind of like saying to me that, maybe it's not like coming in this second. Maybe it's coming in the near future. But the Ace of Cups also wants you to get into the flow. The Ace of Cups wants you to do things to create more flow in your life, and this could include hobbies or things that you enjoy. The more fun you have, the better. You have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords can be like lying, cheating, stealing, but it's coming up in the good stuff. The whole point of the Seven of Swords is that he is sneaking away from this army in the background with these swords, and he is doing that so that they can't be used against him in battle. So he is going to war, but just in a different way. And that's what the Seven of Swords is really about. It's about, it basically says there are better ways to do everything that you want to do in your life, but you just have to explore those better ways of doing things. And if you find better ways of doing things, then things will be better. And so I would just come up with new ways of doing things. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Moon. The Moon in the good stuff is actually clarity. We have the Moon twice here, but the Moon in the good stuff can say that you are accomplishing a goal. You are getting to those mountains that are in the background. Also, like I said, the Moon in the good stuff to me can say that you are getting a lot of clarity on what you're working on or what you're doing, or you are seeing things more clearly, which would also be great. So I kind of just feel clarity. With the Ace of Cups, you have the High Priestess. Yeah, definitely time to trust your intuition. I think sometimes, like, when we are in the flow, we get more, our intuition is a lot better. I always say, like, if I don't go for a walk every day, I get super stuck. Because, like, when I'm walking, like, I don't really sit and meditate, but when I'm walking, I'm basically meditating, and that's where all my good ideas come from. So, but also when I do fun things, when I spend time with friends, when I do my hobbies and things like that. That's also where my best intuitive ideas come from. And so I think that's true for you. Like right here, you need to do more things that fulfill you, Taurus, because, that's probably where your best intuitive ideas are going to come from. And who knows what those ideas will lead to, probably more success, probably more joy and happiness. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Page of Swords. Yes, I would be exploring. Everybody gets the Page of Swords nowadays. And what I would say here is that the Page of Swords is about just being playful with life. He is kind of like the child, and he asks a lot of questions. The Page of Swords is, kind of about asking why. And so anything that you're working on with that Seven of Swords, anything in life at all, Page of Swords says, be curious, do your research, look for better ways of doing things. You have this dog. It says protection from a powerful friend. Yeah, I think you could be being protected at this time, sure. You have this coins card. It says money will be coming to you, obviously. 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, Empress. You're discovering something that will probably lead to a lot more success for you. So I feel like there is a lot more success, joy, love, happiness, peace, all that other good stuff coming in here with this money will be coming to you card. You have this box card. It says you will be receiving a gift. So yeah, definitely could be like a gift from the universe. You have this Six of Cups. The Six of Cups can be a gift from the universe, and usually the gift we receive from the Six of Cups is a turnaround, meaning we can be bumping up against an obstacle, and then when we get the Six of Cups, the obstacle is being removed. And so I feel that for a lot of you, where it's like you could be overcoming an obstacle. You have this teapot card that says deep friendship with someone of the same sex. Yes, I think it's an amazing time for socializing. Again, Pluto and Aquarius, it's the collective, but it's also, bad for, again, becoming part of Mark's creepy experiments and everybody else's creepy experiments. All of them, Klaus, the list goes on and on there, of creepy demonic aliens that, want to steal your soul, but whatever. Rant over. I don't want to get too conspiracy theory here, but, whatever. And what I would say here is that, again, good people, smart people, friendly people, those are the people we should be spending time with. You have this wheel. It says indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. Yeah, I think you need to focus for sure. Ace of Swords, Justice, 9 of Pentacles. These are cards of straightforward focus. So I would pick one thing and make it happen at this time. That's probably where your success will come from. But very interesting, Taurus. I like this a lot. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.